Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So this was really a crazy week for Beyond Gaming. They started out the week as the favorites to make it out of play-ins in most people's eyes. Obviously, people didn't really expect them to top Cloud9 in the groups. I think many people did expect C9 to be first and Beyond Gaming to be second. You know, they're the 2 seed from the PCS. PCS is kind of that 5th best region in the world. Some people would say 4th best region in the world, better in North America, but I think that is out the window at this point. But they were expecting this team to do well. Everyone thinks PSG Talon is pretty good. This team went 5-5 against PSG Talon in the playoffs. But then once we actually saw them at Worlds, it became very clear that this team is a 1v9 Doggo show, and the rest of the other players didn't really show up. Fast forward another couple of days, Beyond Gaming struggling. All of a sudden, they have this gambling scandal. Their mid laners out. Their sub-top laners playing mid. It all went downhill so fast, and now Beyond Gaming is out of Worlds before the main stage even happens after a 3-0 loss to Hanwha Life today. But one thing we did get out of this whole thing is it is confirmed Doggo is an absolute beast, and we're going to be talking about what his future might have in store for him today. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate it a ton. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content, and consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/IamGerm. With that being said, let's get right into this one. So Doggo was absolutely popping off. His team was straight up griefing him in most games, but he is having what some people are calling one of the best individual performances of like a player at a World Championships of all time. I mean, he was really doing that good. Now, obviously, it's just in the play-in, so it's not like people are saying it's the best, but they're just saying, you know, as far as individual performances, carrying teams, looking great while doing so, which is very hard. League of Legends, especially modern League of Legends, is such a team game. It's so team-oriented. There's not as much room for individual outplays and individual plays, and it's pretty much if your team's ahead, most of you are going to be looking good. If your team's behind, most of you are going to be looking bad. To stand out as good as, you know, Doggo did against Detonation Focus Me, good team. Cloud9, good team. Even Hanwha Life, one of the better Korean teams, was very impressive to people. And people are saying that he is now probably, after a very good MSI and a very good Worlds, probably cemented himself as one of the best AD carries in the world. And I think he's like 18, 19 years old, something like that. He's a young guy with a ton of time to grow. And he's also a free agent in this coming offseason, and that is what is very important. Now, we did have a lot of people around the League of Legends world talking about him. We had Carlos tweeting out Doggo. Obviously, G2, the rumor is that Reckless is out. The rumor is that G2 is going to have an open AD carry slot. The rumor is that they are trying out a bunch of different players. Now, does G2 want to go after Doggo? Would Doggo even ever go to G2? I don't know, but it seems like at the very least, Carlos has his eyes on him, and this is very interesting to a lot of people. Obviously, part of this is farming Twitter interactions and farming likes and getting people talking, getting people excited, but could Carlos, you know, reach out to him? I'm sure he will. This is a guy from a minor region, you know, probably not making amazing money. G2 could offer him some kind of crazy salary, especially from all the money they're going to get once they sell off Reckless and Wonder and Grabs and Mickey. They're going to have money to throw around a little bit. Maybe Doggo wants to come to Europe. Maybe he wants to come and play for G2, one of the biggest brands in the world. And maybe he wants to get a pretty significant raise to do so. Obviously, G2 needs an AD carry. Again, potentially one of the best AD carries in the world is available. I think you're a fool if you don't think G2 will at least be reaching out to him. Now, will they be able to agree on anything? We know there's all these weird rules and tax rules and everything with Taiwan, where it makes it more difficult to get players like this. You know, does G2 really go after top imports very often? Not really, but they're in a new phase. They're in a new rebuild. I don't know. They're going to rebuild that bot lane. Maybe they can grab, you know, a couple imports for that bot lane. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but again, Carlos did have another tweet as well, where he said just straight up, Doggo, I'm watching you, you know? So this guy is on his radar for sure. Carlos was impressed, just like a lot of other people were impressed. I don't expect G2 Doggo to happen, but again, this is just one of the things that is going around at this point, which I thought was very interesting. Now, another option that a lot of people are talking about, this might be a little bit more likely option than G2, and this is Parth, TSM FTX Parth, tweeted out Doggo with a picture of a dog, obviously, you know, kind of memeing. Again, I think he's farming, you know, some Twitter interactions, some Twitter likes and everything like that, but people are saying that TSM Doggo would be a very good fit. It would be an awesome option. And again, TSM, yes, Lost is still under contract, but TSM is expected to have an import slot open. I think most people do expect them to move on from Lost and to be looking for an AD carry. Obviously, in the minds of most TSM fans, I think Reckless would be the number one choice. He's obviously a Western player, speaks English very well, and not very well, he just speaks English. He has an amazing brand. He would really help out TSM in a lot of different ways. Pairs up with Bjergsen well, a lot of different things. But there are some rumors and reports that maybe Reckless and even probably Reckless doesn't want to come to North America. He's not very interested in that. That doesn't really, sound appealing or exciting to him. And then one of the next best options available would obviously be Doggo. TSM has the Taiwanese support in Sword Art. So there'd be a little bit more, I can see more reasons why he would want to come to TSM than G2, potentially being paired up with Sword Art, another guy who is from his culture, familiar with him, be able to speak his language, understand him a little bit better, help acclimate him to the United States. Again, TSM, we know, has the money to throw around. Obviously, they just threw around a ton of money at Sword Art. They know how all the taxes and all the contracts going through Taiwan works, all that stuff. But again, would Doggo want to come to North America? Would he want to play for TSM? Would he want to, come over there? Is that going to fit his agenda or what he has going on or his desires and needs and everything? Because the other big thing to keep in mind is obviously what a lot of people are saying is that he's going to be getting some crazy money thrown at him from some LPL teams. And I think most people do expect Doggo to end up in China next year, probably on one of the better Chinese teams. Now, that's the only thing is, what level of Chinese team are you going to get on? Because if you're on a G2 or a TSM, you're going to have a pretty good opportunity, especially if you pop off, to compete for domestic titles, to be going to MSI, to be going to Worlds, all of this stuff. And if you end up on a middling Chinese team, the LPL is tough. The LPL is a very, very big, very, very deep league. And, you might not have the same amount of opportunities. You could make the same money, maybe even a little bit more money, but, maybe you kind of get lost in the middle of the pack and everything. Obviously, the culture would be way better for him. The language, all that stuff would be way better. But you do also have to keep in mind the tensions between Taiwan and China and all that stuff. I'm sure, some people don't care. Obviously, we see a lot of Taiwanese players going over to China playing in the LPL, but maybe some people do care. Maybe some families do care. Maybe some people, want to stay away from China if they can and would rather go to Europe or would rather go to Los Angeles, some pretty cool places. The other interesting thing here is that when Travis Gafford spoke with Doggo, you can see the quote from the title of this interview. He says, "I would like to go everywhere and try to learn all the different languages." Now, is this Doggo hinting at a potential move this offseason? Is this Doggo, saying to the world, hey, reach out to me. I'm interested. Let's talk. Let's figure something out. I would like to travel. I would like to see the world. Because that quote, that title, at least to me, doesn't sound like he wants to go to China. I think there is a ton of awesome opportunities in the West for a guy like Doggo. I think G2, I think TSM, I even think Team Liquid would be a really, really awesome opportunity. And all three of those teams would be looking really, really nasty with a great, young, aggressive, just class AD carry on their roster. Now, yes, I do kind of understand the people's point where China seems like the easy, seems like the logical option. But just know, this is what Doggo's saying. Does this mean he just wants to travel and experience things and get out a little bit more? Or does this mean he, might be coming to the West? I don't know. But this is another interesting wrinkle, another interesting curveball to throw into the whole offseason situation and scenario. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below. Where do you think Doggo is going to end up in 2022? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.